Brought to you from Melbourne, Australia. This is the Badminton Podcast, a community for badminton players by badminton players, where we talk badminton, celebrate local heroes, interview players from all walks of life, and push you to grow as a player and a person. Introducing your hosts, Jeff and Henry.
Hello, badminton community, and welcome to another episode of the Badminton Podcast. I'm Jeff, and my co-founder and co-host Henry is not with me here today because I'm currently doing this episode from the Indonesia Masters 2020 in Jakarta, and I'm sitting next to our guest for this episode, and I'll introduce him in a second. First of all, I just want to say that this podcast is proudly sponsored by Volant, and our guest, who is French, will be able to say the name a lot better than I because he is actually French. But it's brought to you by Volant, and we're here because we really love badminton, and we're trying to build our badminton community to make sure that we all grow as players and as people as well. So our introduction to our guest, his name is Brice Leverdez. Brice is a French men's singles player, and his current world ranking is number 35. It's been as high as 19 about 1.5 years ago. He has won 13 international men's singles titles, silver medal at last year's European Games, bronze medal at the European Championships the year before in 2018, and also gold medalist at the 2013 Mediterranean Games. He loves badminton because it's made him who he is today. He's learnt so much from all the traveling he's done, meeting new people, new players, and new coaches.
At least if you have some people who really truly believe that you can do it, no matter many other details, if you work with people that truly believe in yourself, then you have a chance to make it. You have to know what you want, and you have to admit it, say it, show it on court. You have to really live who you want to be on court, and that's what I learned also over my best wins.
Brice, thanks for spending your time to be on the podcast today.
No problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Now, Brice, we've known each other for quite a long time. I think we met in 2006 or 2007 when you came to Melbourne to play.
Yeah, that was the not 2006 for sure, 2007.
2007, yeah.
For the first time, yeah, I was in Australia Open. Not the Australia Open, maybe
Victoria International.
Victoria International, for the qualification of 2008 Beijing
Olympics, yeah. You came with Kel Hoffner.
Monori.
Yes, I do remember them, yeah. And you were the young one in the team.
I was the youngest one, yeah. We were 3 taking part of the qualification that year. So it was a lot of traveling. That's the craziest year of my career, actually. We played more than 29 tournaments, I think, that year. Yeah.
29?
Yeah, 29, something like that.
That's crazy. I played a lot, but not as many as that.
Not as many as 29? Yeah.
And just for everyone listening, I have played Brice how many times? 3 times, I think.
You know better than me.
I think maybe 3. And I've lost all 3 times. I've won a set a couple of times, but I lost in straight sets, I remember, in Melbourne when we first met.
Okay.
But I've never beaten you.
Cool. I keep my record.
I remember I was closest in Dutch Open.
Wow, you remember that?
I think it was Dutch Open, yeah. Well, I've got to remember all the close victories. Or almost victories against you.
Okay.
And I'm sure a lot of people out there know who Brice is, but he has definitely beaten some of the very top players, including Lee Chong Wei, Chen Long,
yes,
Anthony Ginting,
yes,
Kenichi Tago.
Yes, that was my first top 10, actually.
First top 10 victory.
First top 10 victory.
Kenichi Tago.
Tago.
Yeah.
This was the hardest, I think, for me. Because it has been many years I was chasing to beat top 10 players, and finally I made it at the Suleiman Cup in India in 2014, something like that, yeah. So it was, and then after that I beat quite a lot of top 10.
So you think that was maybe the kind of breaking the ice?
That was a gap I needed to do for many years. I had the level already to do it, but mentally I think I wasn't ready, and that time when I beat Tago, it was such a struggle because the match I had like big ups and downs, And my coach was furious at me at some point because he said, like, you can beat him, but you don't believe in yourself, basically, on court. So I don't know what to do anymore. So just like do what you want to do. Because he was telling me to play a certain style of game and stuff like this. And I was saying, like, oh, I can't do it. But finally, I shut my mouth and then I swallowed my anger and then I played the way he needed me to play. And then I won. It worked. Tago went completely crazy in the third game, and then he started playing weirdly, and he lost his mental control.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you think was the turning point? So when your coach said, do what you want, was there something that helped you mentally trigger that? For
sure, because we have this special relationship with my coach. He's more than a coach now. I've been working with him since 2005, so it's been 14 years now.
Yeah.
So it's more like a long relationship that we have together. And he was tired of me not beating those guys because he knew I could do it, but I was just not pulling it off. And that time he was on the chair behind me and he was furious at me. So, and then sometime, like when we are like this at training, then I'm getting furious back at him. So it's like a hard relationship, like a couple, you know. And then that time, basically I say fuck off, but then in my head I say, fuck, I'm gonna try anyway, and then it worked. So yeah, it was a trigger point. Yeah.
Nice. And then going to after Kenichi Tago, what would you say would be the most significant win over the top 10 players? So I know all of them are very important to you, but was there one that you will always remember forever?
Well, of course, I think I will remember the most the first time I beat Lee Chong Wei, because I was about to quit badminton at that time. It was right after the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio, and I played really badly in September. And I already launched my clothing brand at that time.
I saw.
So I basically was ready to quit badminton and to go for my brand and for another life. And then I said after September, I told myself, like, okay, after the two last tournaments, I was already entered in Denmark Open and French Open. And then I told myself, like, okay, after those two tournaments, you just stop. That's it. So then I stopped practicing. At the beginning of October, I stopped practicing, but I already booked the flight ticket to Denmark. I was already on my way to see my friend Joachim Persson in Denmark. So I said, okay, I just go. I have fun with him. And then I go to the tournament because I don't want to pay a fine to not play. So we just played some funny games with Joachim for 2-3 days. We partied. I did something that you shouldn't do before a tournament. And then I played in the first round. I played Malaysia player who got banned.
Zulfadli.
Zulkifli.
Yeah.
So I played him in first round, lost the first, and then won the two other sets. I didn't really know how I did, but it was a bit lucky, and I didn't have any stress actually to play there because I knew I wanted to stop. So I played very relaxed, and I told actually a friend to come behind the court to coach me. He's just a poker player from Denmark, and we just like having fun on court, always saying jokes and really like having a good time. So then second round I played Chou Tien Chen from Chinese Taipei. And at that time, I mean, I already had a good record against him. I never lost to him, but I mean, I didn't practice so well, and he's like a super solid player. But I don't know how I managed to win. I just play also very relaxed. And then in quarterfinals, I had to play Lee Chong Wei. I played so relaxed that match. I didn't care. It was Lee Chong Wei in front of me. I was just laughing with my friend behind the court. Sometimes when I look at the video back, or if people saw this match, they could have think like, oh, maybe I was arrogant, or I was like laughing a lot on court, but not at all. Actually, I was not arrogant. I was just playing to have fun, basically. So every net shot I will get with the tape, I will laugh, and I will told my coach, like, I'm the best today. I just can't make a mistake at the net. Stuff bullshit like this. And then it worked. I played very well that match. Lee Chong Wei maybe had said like he was really furious to have lost to me that time. He even said to me at the end of the match, "Oh, I was injured." Like when we shake hands, the guy said I was injured. So
when you shook,
yeah, so it was really bad. Yeah, we played more than an hour and 10 minutes, something like
because
this.
you had match point in second set.
Yeah, right? No, it was in World Championship. I had match point.
Oh, sorry,
yes.
Yeah.
But I was close to win, I think, the second set, also in Denmark Open. But it was pretty disappointing from him at that point. But I mean, I can also understand, like, the guy is number one in the world for 10, 15 years. He lost only to 2 European players before me. So, yeah, he was pretty pissed to lose against a French guy. Because he kicked my ass a few times before. So, yeah, it was hard lose for him.
Yeah.
But that was my most memorable moment, because after that, I told myself, like, I still enjoy playing badminton because I had so much fun during that tournament, and I still like to play. And the winning against Lee Chong Wei in Denmark Open, so supported by a lot of European people. They were all like going crazy in the court. My coach was laughing so much, and I couldn't believe that I've done that. But in the way, I was really relaxed. I was like, yeah. He's just a guy like me, actually.
Yeah.
Everyone on court has 2 legs and 2 arms, and you fight with your abilities. And then that time I fight with my guts and my skills. Yeah.
So have you used that mindset for the rest of your career now?
It's hard to set your mind when you want to quit badminton at every tournament. So I don't tell myself like seriously, okay, I'm gonna quit after this tournament. So it's really hard to set the mind like that time. So no, I never had the same mindset as this time. In the normal mindset, you will always think about some outcome of this match or this tournament or this thing. So you always have some kind of stress that you need to handle.
Yeah. Okay, so Lee Chong Wei twice. You beat him
twice, yeah.
What about the other people that you played?
There was a people. I remember one of my best record was against my good friend, actually, Joachim Persson, because I always respected him as a player. He was a superb player, like very intelligent player on court. And the more I knew him, the more I understood how he was playing on court and how he was studying the opponents. It was really like science, strategy science with him, and that's why I liked to work with him after he finished his career, because we had such an understanding on how to play, even though it's hard to pull out the right strategy at the right time in badminton. You have only few not even seconds to react to a shot and to plan something. And sometimes you're tired, so you lose your lucidity. I don't know if you can say this in English.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to work with him, and I had a good record against him. I've never lost to him, actually, and that was the first big player I beaten in my young age.
Yeah.
And I won so many times, like in a very hard games, 20-20 in the third, so many times. So he hated me for that also.
But still good friends now.
Yeah, still very good friends, actually. We contact each other quite often. Nowadays he can't come to tournaments because of some problem with the BWF, with betting problems.
Okay.
So he's banned for 2 years, I think, from the court. But yeah, we are still good friends. So him was also like turning point in my career. And then Vitingus, because we are the same generation. And Hoko, we are good friends also. I think he's one of the nicest guy of this on this circuit. And I never beaten him when I was young. And he always beat me also when we grow older. But at some point I started beating him after Tago also.
Yeah.
And he was like top 15, almost top 10 at that time. So it was a big achievement for me too. Then who else? Ginting, but Ginting was just 3 months ago. I went there, I wanted to prove myself that I could play at a high level again, because after a long injury period, I wanted to prove myself that I could play like a full match with an attacking style game during the entire match. and it went well. So I was really happy to win. I almost lost it, even though I was leading so much in the third, but I'm happy to got out winner.
Yeah.
But those are the big wins, if you are talking about big wins.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
That's excellent. Now, moving on from what your victories have been recently and in your years, if we go back to badminton in itself, what's badminton like in France? Is it something that's a very well-known sport? I know that there are a lot of upcoming very good French badminton players. For example, I know that there's a very strong mixed pair now. I can't pronounce their names, but it's Tom
Gickel and Delphine Delorue.
Yes, so I just saw today that they beat
Thai number 4 in the world, which was amazing. Maybe one of those 2 best results, I think.
Yeah.
Last year they beat some Indonesian who were number 2 or 3 also in the world.
Yeah. And he's young, isn't he?
He's young. I think he's 21.
21, yeah.
Both of them are really young, so it's really promising for the future.
Fantastic. So would you say in France, badminton and the badminton community is growing consistently, or is it small or big? Or
No, it was growing until last year. So the number of people who get the license to play badminton, it was growing until last year. So we are about 190,000 licensed players in France. But the problem is more and more people want to play, but we don't have enough space anymore. The clubs cannot accept more members because it's limited time, limited courts. So we are lacking courts basically.
Yeah.
But the badminton community is growing every day, day by day, because it's such a nice sport. I mean, we will talk about this, I think, later, but it's just a lovely sport to play. It's cheap. It's easy to have some fun with someone because the shuttle slows down a lot. So it's not like a tennis ball, which will never slow down almost. Yeah. So if you can't catch the ball, you can't play anymore. Anyway, in badminton, you can. It's really easy to lift the shuttle, and then the shuttle will take so much time to arrive on the other side. So you can play with different level. You will always have some fun. So that's why badminton is growing. I think everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's just growing at a different pace. But
different locations. And Brice, we had this talk about before, and the reason why Henry and I started the brand Volant Wear. Is that Volant?
Volant
Wear. And you call the shuttlecock Volant?
Volant, yes.
Yeah. So the reason we started the brand and the podcast is to make badminton more well-known in the world, and to make it so that it looks better on court and the badminton community is stronger, and we can, from the outside, it looks like we are more closely knit and we are a strong community that people want to be a part of. How would you say badminton is perceived in France? Because in Australia, of course, it's such a small sport compared to the main sports like cricket, swimming, golf, tennis, Australian football, and even soccer or football in itself. It's very, very small. And when people think about badminton, all they think about is the beach sport or the backyard sport. And we're trying to change that so that people understand how incredible the sport is and how fast it is and what is required. I remember I used to tell some people I used to get injuries and I had hip surgery from badminton, and they say, "What? You can get injured from badminton? But it's so slow. Like, how can you get injured?" And sometimes it makes me a little bit frustrated because people don't understand. But how is it in France? Do people have better knowledge of the sport, do you think?
I think that they do have a better knowledge of the sport now. But I was still surprised. Recently, I did some research about the sports in France. And basically, badminton is number 19 in France in terms of members. So football, tennis, and 18 sports in front of badminton. So 190,000 people is number 19 in France. So it's still very far away in the ranking. But it comes again to the lack of courts for me, because we could be, I think, at least double of members than this. Previously, in the 2000 years, maybe it was the same thinking as you now in Australia. Like people would only think about badminton as a beach sport, and nowadays it's not anymore a beach sport. Like even the TV are interested in badminton to show some real badminton. last year at the European Games, they love to put me on the channel on live and put the whole match. And normally it was almost never like this because they were surprised that the audience on TV was good when I was playing live. So they thought like, oh, maybe badminton interests some more and more people. And it does. It's just that it's not showing enough badminton on TV. And of course, in the term of France badminton, it doesn't show enough good results from French players. So hopefully we'll have more and more good players to make some good results and then attract the TV and attract the audience.
Yeah. Because Brice, you've been playing competitively internationally since 2006?
Yeah, something 2007.
2007?
Oh, yeah.
So it's been 13 years. Yeah. So is there someone else are there people bringing up the sport from behind as well, so that when you decide to stop, hopefully not anytime soon, but that this will keep going?
Yes, I think we have a lot of talented young players. Almost every year we have young talented players. The problem is when you come from junior to senior, there is a big gap.
Yes.
And you know what I talk about.
Absolutely.
And it's not easy to transfer from junior to senior. So even if you were a good player in junior, you have to work even harder to become a good player in senior badminton. And you have so much details to work on. Because when you are young, you can win with some special abilities that you have since you are born, let's say, something like this.
Yeah.
But when you become, if you want to become like a good top 40 or top 30 men's single in the world, you have to work on every abilities, and you have to work on every mental aspect, like technical aspect, physical aspect. Everything has to be at a very high level. And this is hard because you have to work so hard. It's not an easy sport to practice.
Especially men's singles.
Especially men's singles, women's single, it's almost the same.
Yeah.
Even though the number of players in men's single is way higher than any other draw. So I really hope like the young ones nowadays, they will understand that they need to work even harder when they grow old. And I'm really happy to see. I can only talk about those that I know a bit because I've been with Tom, Jekyll and Delphine for a few months now, seeing how they think about badminton and how they go on courts, and the mentality is really good. They also are very professional on how to welcome the sport, something like this. So it's good to see. And I also warm up with Christoph Popov. You've heard the name, maybe, the world silver medalist at the World Junior Championship last year.
I've heard the name.
And he's only 16 or 17 years old. And he was really like, when I warm up with him, I was surprised by his technical level, his mental strength. He won Italian Open, beating like some older players and good like top 40, top 50 players in the world. And I was surprised to see this at this young age, already like very focused, very calm, very, very good technically, very good physically. So I really hope like he's gonna break through many more walls that I didn't break in my career.
Fantastic. It sounds like there's some positive things happening in French badminton then.
Yeah. I mean, there is also young French players, but I don't know them enough to talk about them. So
yeah, sure.
I have a talk to the one I know.
Sure. And I know you're talking about the transition between the junior level and the senior level and how it's a very big gap there. What kind of mindset do you think is important for the junior level in order for them to cover that gap or breach that gap? Is there a certain mindset or a certain thing you think that they need to be doing?
First of all, they need to choose well who is on their side. That's one of the most important things I've learned along my career, is that if you work with people that truly believe in yourself, then you have a chance to make it. No matter many other details, at least if you have some people who really truly believe that you can do it, then they will tell you all the time that you can do it. And mentally, it's so much easier when someone tells you like you can do it if you work hard, than someone who tells you like, you're French, so many Asian players, so it's gonna be hard. No, you have to delete that kind of talking, because you know it already. You're not stupid, when you are a player, you know that 80% of the players now in top level are Asian. Because also of the number of players in Asia. But if you believe in yourself, then you can do it. But you cannot be the only one believing in yourself. You need some team around you who really trust you on your abilities to do it. So the first thing would be that. Second would be, don't lose in mind that you have to work even harder than when you were young. Different way, because you are older and you have to think about things that you didn't think when you were young. I don't know, but basically when I was young, I was just practicing skills, physical training. But when I was a senior, I was training all in the same time, basically. Technical, tactical and physical at the same time. And it was a good management, I think, because you need to always work on everything. You cannot just say, oh, this one I will work next month or next week. No, it has to be a combined work. But yeah, that's the two most important things, like the mental strength of believing in yourself, believing in the team around you, and capacities of working hard and not getting injured also.
Yeah. Okay. Some really good knowledge there for all the junior players trying to cross over to seniors. And I think one of the other things is that you just need to be, especially in Australia, because we're very isolated from the world, we need to be so much more aware of what's out there. Because being the best in Australia, or even the continent, Australia, New Zealand, it's not good enough. You need to be exposed to the outside world in order for you to get to that level. So I think that's really important. And Brice, just a few other questions with regards to your career. What has been the biggest thing that you would say that you have learned from your career? So you've been here for 13 years in the professional badminton circuit. Is there any other bits of knowledge that potentially you've learned something and you can pass on to any player, whether they be junior or senior player?
One thing actually would be interesting to say, but I think it's for everything in life that would work, is that you should not give a shit about what people say about you. If you believe in what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and believe in yourself, then you should not listen to people around you if they talk bad or if they don't believe in you. Yeah, don't. There will always be haters and lovers if you do something strong. Of course, if you are always like a political guy, always say white on Monday, black on Tuesday, gray on Wednesday, then that's not going to work. You're not going to achieve world number one or one of the top player in the world. That's not possible. You have to know what you want, and you have to admit it, say it, show it on court. You have to really live the life you want to, who you want to be on court, and that's what I learned also over my best wins. I was playing a character on court. I was playing the confident me on court, and that's how I could pull off those wins, because I was believing in myself at that time more than another time, a little bit more, and it's just a little bit who makes the difference.
Is there any certain thing that you do before a match to get you into that to make you that confident person who believes?
I tried so many things over the year to try to find that, how do you say, that momentum before the match, that zone, we call it also in French.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's so hard to say, like, I have one thing and it works all the time. No. For me, it was not like this. I tried many things, and at some point I will think, oh, this time I did that and I felt good on court. But another time I tried the same thing and it didn't work. And then another time I tried another thing and I felt good also. So I have really like a lot of respect for those guys like Lee Chong Wei, Lindan, or Momota at the moment, who can go on court and win every single time. And even if they are on a bad day, because everyone has bad days and good days, even on a bad day, they can still win. And that's really impressive, because mentally they are super, super, super strong. And they really believe in themselves so much to achieve that result all the time.
Yeah.
And I never found the solution for this. But you should ask the question to them. But for me, it's a tricky question.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's very tricky. But I think I like the idea that you said, get the people around you who believe, because it's very tiring. Of course, you have to believe in yourself, but it's very tiring to always have to find that yourself.
True. I think you also had the same problem as me, being an Australian men's single player. Not so many people would have believed that you can achieve the level you had. And but when you are Momota, for example, and you arrive, you already have a good level when you are young. And then the whole machine system of Japan will come behind you and just like carry you very easily. Like you have nothing to do, basically. You just have to think about training, about food, not even food, actually. You just think about badminton training and how to improve your skills, basically. So it's so much less effort than for people like us in our countries. But it's still possible, I think, to achieve big results. And then if one of us in those countries achieve big results, then it will give more confidence to the next people, next generation. That's what I hope I served in my country. That's what I hope for the next generation, to beat everything I did and to reset the records to another higher level. And then I hope the next generation after them will beat them again. That's how you start being like a cultural sport, and you will bring some more medal.
Yeah. I'm not that aware of badminton in France in the past, but the history of the achievements in French badminton. But from my perspective, it seems like you're one of the few have kind of broken through and beaten those top players. So hopefully by seeing you do it, so the other French players or the younger French players can think, hey, Brice has done it. I'm in the same position he was in, so maybe I can do it as well.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. I mean, before me, there was some player, like my coach, for example, he had some genius matches where he played unbelievable, and he beat world number 16 or some ranking like this, Rima Rodi at that time. I think you don't know that player, but he was a really good player. And so some of them beaten once or twice a very good player. But yeah, I mean, overall, I've been the one who broke more walls, let's say.
Yes.
And now the walls are already down for the next generation, so they know they can do it, they can do it even better than me. So that's what I'm hoping for those young guys who come behind, and it should work normally. It should be like the next normal thing.
Yes. Yeah, it is making it normal and making it possible.
Yeah.
Because once you break through, then all of a sudden the belief system changes. So that's awesome. Now, Brice, before we move on from badminton, let's just see what's your calendar looking like? What's next in store for you?
Next in store for me is going to be like next week. It's going to be PBL, Premier Badminton League in India, for 3 weeks. So really good experience, always there, really good fun. Always want to win for the team. It's, as we are single players, we don't get too much with other players. So when we have team events, it's always nice. to share some stories, to have fun with the other teammates, and to bring a win to a team. It's always almost nicer than to bring a win for yourself only.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is next on the list, and then after that, it's going to be a big team event also in Europe. It's going to be the European Team Championship, Thomas Cup style.
Yes.
So it means men's team. I love this team event, so I'm really looking forward for that also. And we reached a silver medal in 2016 or 17. And the bronze medal another time. So I hope this year it's going to be in France, and I hope we can pull also like a very good result. And we have a strong team.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. And then after that, a lot of European tournaments, maybe Asia again in April, and then latest will be the European Championship at the end of April, at the last tournament of the Olympic qualifier. So yeah, it's going to be busy months ahead.
Absolutely. We wish you all the best for those.
Thank you so much.
Now, moving on from badminton, we've had a bit of a chat about this before, Brice, but what are the other things that you like to do or your interest outside the badminton scene?
Oh, so we talked a little bit together about this, but I've have a lot of interest in many things. I'm a very curious person, so my interest can change quite frequently. But lately, I'm a lot into environment, climate change, sustainability, energy. All these subjects are really interesting. And I'm right at the end of the book called Limits to Growth from the Meadows Report. Okay. And it's the best book I've read in my life. I like reading recently. I mean, when I was young, I didn't like reading at all. Yeah. But recently I started picking on this, and reading is absolutely amazing. It teaches you so much, and even like a basic novel will teach you so many things. So it's always a pleasure. And yeah, recently my reads were mostly about climate change, sustainability, energy consumption level, all these topics. Otherwise, I also love the nature so much, the wildlife, animal wildlife also. And I love scuba diving. That's also one of the things who made me interested into climate change. Because over the years I've been doing scuba diving since more than 10 years maybe now, and I've done it in many countries. Every time I have a small break, I try to go to scuba dive somewhere. And also like adventurous wild thing, I like to do it. So I could see some change in the world, and that's why I started being interested about the environment and climate change. And it's pretty scary actually. Yes. I would say I changed a little bit my lifestyle actually because of that. I don't know how to say, but I was a big meat eater.
Yes.
And now I completely changed. I reduced by 80% my meat consumption, and I've almost never eaten beef anymore.
Okay.
So I only eat, when I eat meat, I will eat, animal products. I will eat maybe chicken, pork, and some fish, but I will try not to eat much. When I'm in France, I can cook, I can buy food for myself, so it's easy to eat vegan. But when you travel a lot, it's so difficult to find this vegan quality ingredients. You cannot cook. Restaurants are not easy to find,
especially in Asia, right?
Especially in Asia. So yeah, I allow myself to eat sometime a little bit of meat or animal product, but I reduced a lot that part of my lifestyle. I also try to do simple gesture on my everyday life. Just turn off the light when you're not in the room, turn off the aircon when you're not in the room. Try to use my bike in France as much as I can instead of using my scooter. No, I didn't buy a car. Also last year I told myself, okay, no more car. I don't need a car. If I need a car, then I will borrow someone, but I don't need to buy a car. So I just use. I try to reduce my carbon footprint. Because I know on the other hand, my job is not very carbon footprint friendly. Yeah. So I try to do like a balance between trying to do simple gesture. No plastic bag. I try as much as I can. Try to also reduce my water consumption, electricity consumption. Every consumption that you can reduce, you try to do it, and then it's already a good gesture for us, for planet. And then the rest would have to be the big companies, the big group, the politics, who will have to put laws and rules and change their mentality of thinking greenly, let's say.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Greta Thunberg extreme on the way that I'm not going to travel to a tournament by a boat, but I'm trying to do small changes. Small changes in my life.
I think that's really important because a lot of people think my change is so small. What's that going to have? What impact is that going to have on the world? But just remembering that it is all the little bits that add up, right? To the big thing. Just a question about your meat consumption and beef. Is there a particular reason why beef that you've decided to cut down?
Beef is the worst meat that you can eat because it's the one who releases the most carbon dioxide in the air, because it's methane. Yeah, so it's way worse than carbon dioxide. Actually, beef needs a lot of land to eat, to walk, to be raised, basically. So if you need land, we don't have enough land. Population is growing up. It's growing all the time in the world. But lands, we have a certain amount of land available, and that's why the fires in Sumatra area. That's why the fires in Amazonia. That's why so many big companies will buy lands that were not supposed to be for soya, for farming and stuff like this. So that's why beef is my main reason I stopped eating beef. I could eat beef only if I know where the beef come from and how it has been raised, how it has been treated, and that I could eat that beef. But that's the only reason I would eat beef now.
Yeah. And have you noticed any changes in energy level or anything like that? Because I know that there are a lot of athletes out there that are going vegan, and for their own reasons, for health reasons, as well as for the planet and the environment as well. Have you noticed much change because you've changed like 80% of your diet?
Not at all. Actually, I feel even better than before because I feel less heavy. I mean, I'm the same weight as before, but I feel less heavy in a way that I don't need to digest too much compared to before. And you discover new things actually I didn't know that vegan, you can cook so much things with vegan, with plant and cereals. You can cook so much, you can have so much different taste. Also, you always think like vegan, or you're going to eat grass all day.
Yeah.
That's not at all the true. You can mix so many things. Of course, it's going to take a little bit of time to discover all these things, but after a while you get used to, and it's a new taste that you will have in your mouth instead of beef or pork or chicken.
Yeah. And there's also the fake meat as well, right?
Yeah.
That I've had some that tastes quite nice as well. Yeah. And it's usually a lot of soy-based things.
Yeah, that's the thing also. I mean, when you enter deep into the subject of food and plants and cereals, you understand that you have to look for everything, because even soya, they're destroying the forest in Amazonia to do some soya farming. So you have to know where the soya come from. Was it organic or not? Because chemicals are everywhere in the food production, in the food industry. And food is a really, how do you call it, a maze. To find the right food you should eat is a maze at the moment.
Yeah.
But a general concept you can say is, first of all, try to reduce your industrial food consumption. All the packaging food with who says like it's meat, it's cereal bar, anything, and then you look at behind of the packages and you look at the ingredients, and most of the time there is almost no ingredients that it was written on the front packaging. So it's just like try to be more aware about what you are eating, and then you will start looking at things differently. You will maybe look at different interviews or read some books about it. It changes your view, your opinion, your lifestyle can be. I feel much better now. I mean, mentally, physically, I also feel better. So, and for the future generation, for the planet, I do my small part. But it's not going to be easy, for sure. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take time because I think like most of the guys who will listen to us, most of them will be educated a little bit, and it's much easier when you are educated to have access to information the right information. Because when you are not too much educated, then you will look at TV, and TV will show you only information that are good for them, for the company who owns them. And that's a big problem. Because they own the world, basically. All the big groups, they own politics, they own media, they own everything. They have so much power with money. So you really have to look into the small lines to find the right information.
Yeah, completely agree. Do you know many other badminton players who follow a similar diet or have changed at all? Yeah,
actually, for now, I know only one man single guy in France called Lucas Clairbout. Only him at the moment. I mean, it's really hard to talk to some of the young generation about this. Some of them they don't really want to change. No, it's not that they don't want to change. They don't even think about changing. It's not even the change. It's just like they don't give a shit. And that's concerning because they are educated, they are good badminton players, but they don't care too much about more than badminton. So I hope it's gonna change in the future. But I was the same also when I was a kid. Even though it was not that much into consideration at that time when we were in our 20s. Nowadays, the generation from 5 to 20, they are really aware about climate change. I'm very surprised to talk with some of the young guys or girls that I know in France. And they are like even more advanced than me in the subject. And I mean, I've been quite deep into the subject. But they are of course we know this and we learn it. They don't even learn it in school. I think they know where to look.
Okay, that's good.
It's like a community, the young community. Maybe they know how to transfer the good information. And then with Greta Thunberg now putting the message everywhere. But for sure, you will always have like the in and out kind of people. So hopefully the one in the middle, they will try to do some efforts to come for the size of the planet and humanity, basically.
Yeah. It's a very interesting topic, and I think a topic that can get very controversial and very argumentative because there's lots of dollars involved, isn't there? Imagine the world without a meat industry. For example, beef industry.
The lobby of the agricultural industry, meat industry, it's insane. We have no idea actually how much we are talking about. But it's the same thing as for example, I've seen a documentary about the biggest coal mine in Australia that the Indian company are building. And then some French reporters went to Australia. They tried to access the site. And got refused by the police because they were controlled by the company who refused the reporters to go inside the coal mine. You haven't heard about the coal? No. The biggest in the world. They want to build the biggest coal mine in Australia. And it's owned by a Indian company. And it's going to be the largest port in the world for coal. And they wanted to break a little bit of the coral reef. So it's insane, and it was a really interesting documentary. And one time the reporter goes to Melbourne or Canberra asking question to the CEO of this company in Australia, and the CEO accepted to answer the question. And one question was like, but you don't realize that what you are doing now is gonna release millions of carbon dioxide into the air, and it's gonna be like a nightmare for the climate change and everything. And then the guy simply replies like, but if it's not me, someone else will do it. But if you always think like this, you'll never end the problem. And that's a big concern because I'm not so sure about the capacity of humanity to change their mindset, because they think only about short term. They think only about profit, about their own benefits. And if you don't think about long term, about maybe being more happy with a bit less, then we have no chance. And I don't think this is possible because this is not like the majority of people think.
Yeah.
So it's a concerning case because, in 20, 30, 40 years, maybe, we are gonna experience war because of population migration, because of the heating will be too hot in some countries, and then flooding, and then storms, and then fires, all these climate related problems that we have now.
Yeah.
So it's not it's a topic we could talk for a long time actually.
Yeah.
But I don't have all the numbers in my head, but it's pretty clear my idea. But if you read books about this, you'll get all the numbers, the facts, because some people always try to deny the problem of climate change, but it's real, it's here, and it's only based on statistics, on facts. So you cannot prove them wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's numbers.
It's numbers.
You can't. It's not opinion. It's just numbers. Yeah. Big topic.
Big topic. Yeah.
Big topic. Okay. Well, Brice, just wrapping up here now, and it's been really interesting because we've been able to talk about badminton and what you've been able to do, but also talk about what else interests you, which is a really important topic of climate change and the things that you've done to do things a little bit differently. Now, because your story is so interesting and what you're doing now it's an inspiration to everyone from a badminton point of view, as well as changing your lifestyle. How would people get into contact with you or potentially follow your progress and what you're doing?
For badminton, it's pretty simple. You just follow my Instagram. Basically, that's where I put the most of the news from my badminton career. So it's just Brice Leverdez on Instagram. And unfortunately, I still didn't started to put on my concerns of climate change on my Instagram. But I thought many times about this, like putting on some news about what I'm reading at the moment and why you guys should read it and, talk about the topics I really care. I need to do it. That's my duty. And I will start, but, I just need to get a little bit of time to do it.
Sure. So just follow Instagram, is it?
Instagram. Facebook will be always related to my Instagram. So all the news from my Instagram goes to my Facebook. But basically I use only Instagram because it's quite popular and it's easy to use. Otherwise you can contact me also via my website, briceleverdez.com. You can write me there and then I will receive it straight on my mailbox. Yeah, that's the two easiest way to contact me. Even if on Instagram I will not reply to all the questions, but if there is like some really interested topic or questions, then of course I will reply.
Fantastic. So make sure you get in contact. So from everyone at the Badminton Podcast and Volant, thanks so much for being on this episode, Brice.
No problem. Thanks, Jeff.
Fantastic. Now, if you want to get in contact with us, so Henry or myself, you can contact us on our social media, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we're also on TikTok. So the handle is Volantwear, VOLANTWEAR, or via our website, www.volantwear.com. Cool. Thanks, Brice.
Cool.
This podcast was brought to you by Volantwear, the most versatile badminton apparel you'll ever own.